We're back in the studio with another Redline. Don't go away. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fat Guy Productions. I am Paul, coming to you as always from beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada, and I'm back upstairs. I just finished the successful resto mod of the Dodge Charger, and we're back at work with this fantastic casting. Let's get to work. So I was looking for a fun little casting that I could do that was a little bit different. And I found this in my stash, and it's the Power Pad. Now, honestly, I didn't find this one. I found a different one, and it was broken. The base was missing the whole back half. I don't even know how you do something like that. So I went out and got this one because I had already decided that this is what I wanted to do. So I got this one instead, and we're going to go ahead and give it a nice little facelift. So I'm going to use the little clamp jig that Eddie gave me, my friend Eddie gave me, and I really like it for when I have things that stick out that I want to protect. And in this case, the windshield sticks out and a little roll bar thingy, so I can adjust it with the foam pads and kind of prop it so that the casting is protected, and then I've got plenty of room to drill. Now, of course, you can use that little clamp right there, and you can clamp the casting down if you want to. I don't often do it that way, but you can if you want to. But this is a great idea, and thank you, Eddie, for giving me this. All right, so I've got the casting all ready to go, and using my Vix Bits and shielded drilling, I'm going to go ahead and drill the two little rivets off. And I don't know what I was doing. I must have not really been paying too much attention. I didn't even catch on the fact that the front rivet is actually just the engine post. It goes from the engine straight through the body and the base and holds the front together, and then you have a post in the back for the body. And I don't know. I just didn't really notice it. It doesn't really matter. It's just something you want to pay attention to. So I got those rivets drilled out, and I got my little screwdriver here, and I'm going to go ahead and get this car apart. So like I said, I had to get this one because the whole back half of the base was broken off on the other casting. In this case, the base is in really good shape. The suspension board is perfect. Everything is going to be good there. You can see here's the engine. It just fell right out. Like I said, it has a post that goes right through the body, right through the base, sticks out the bottom, and then it holds the front together. And then here we have the interior, and they got these funky little roll bars on here. Terrible, terrible idea of Hot Wheels, these roll bars. You'll see what I'm going to do with those in a little bit here, but terrible idea. And then, of course, we've got a little piece of glass that you sure don't want to break, and that's why I propped this all up in Eddie's clamp. Anyhow, now we can go ahead and take a look at the casting and keep going. With everything apart, I'm going to take my drill with the Vix bits, and I'm going to go ahead and just drill the ends of each post. And what that does is it cleans up the edges of the post and dimples them and makes it really, really nice for drilling them out to accept the screw. Now, I'm not a fan of monkeying around with the business end of the drill, but when you're doing these little engines, it sometimes is a necessary evil. I'm just going to make sure that I'm holding it very lightly, so if it catches or snags, it'll just fly off rather than hurt me. But anyhow, I still want to get the end of it drilled correctly, just like I did to the body. So now that I've got that done, I can go ahead and drill out the posts so I can tap them. And I'm going to start with the engine itself. And at first I was going to just try and hold it, but it's so small and finicky, I decided to take a little pair of pliers And I'm just going to kind of lightly grab it. And I'm not squeezing hard because I don't want to damage the motor. All I'm doing is holding it just tight enough to keep it from spinning so that I can drill it out cleanly. Okay, so a little truth in advertising. I'll tell you about it as I tap out the drilled out posts. I drilled through the body. The post in the back is not really tall. It's a very shallow little post, and I drilled right through that sucker. And the reason I'm pointing this out is to just let you know that no matter how long you do this, we all have little boo-boos and mistakes that we make, and this is one I made. I drilled right through. Didn't need to. Wasn't intentional. But in this instance, it's not really going to be a big deal because the bed of the vehicle where the hole is, it's going to have the little camper accessory attached to it. Now, if I was going to play with it or anything like that, I might opt to fill that hole. Wouldn't have been that big of a deal to do, but there's just no need for it. The camper's going to cover everything there, so I'm not going to worry about it. But hey, just understand that if you are doing one of these castings and you struggle with a spot, it happens to all of us. All right, anyhow, let's get this into the stripper. So I mentioned the stupid design of these little roll bars. They're so flimsy and so weak, and for some reason they're split in the middle. They're always bent and misshapen and whatever. I'm just cutting them off. Okay? They don't really serve any valid purpose. I briefly thought about making one out of some wire or something like that, and then I thought to myself, why? I don't even understand why they bothered putting it there. It didn't need to be there. So I just nipped them off and got rid of them. Anyhow, now I can turn my attention to something that makes this casting a little bit more unique than it already is. And that's the fact that this is one of the few castings you're going to find that has 4 large tires on it. Normally, I would be cutting those off and getting rid of them so I can put new ones on, but whenever possible, I like to keep the old tires that I know I'm going to get rid of on. I like to keep them on the casting as long as possible to protect the hubs. And so in this case, I was going to put the base into some lime away from Flitz, and I was going to let that do its thing, so I decided to leave the wheels on for a while. Anyhow, after spraying it down with the lime remover, I washed the casting off and brought it over here, and now I can go ahead and polish this thing up. Ah, Flitz, how I love thee. Let me count the ways. This stuff is magical. If you're not using it, well, I don't know why you're not using it, but you should be. It's great stuff. I'm going to squish a little bit all over the base, and then using my rotary tool with a buffing pad on it, I'm going to go ahead and bring out the shine of this base. Now, when I'm doing this, I kind of start slow and work the paste in, then I speed it up, and I make sure I attack the base from several different directions. That way the buffing wheel has an opportunity to get into every nook and cranny and really get the base shined up. If you kind of go one direction, everything can kind of pile up in the corners, and you don't want that. So I go the long way, then I go sideways, and I really kind of work it around a little bit. Anyhow, once I'm done with the rotary tool, I can now go ahead and buff this off with a nice microfiber towel. And the microfiber towels are great because they really get down into the nooks and crannies, so you can really bring out the shine. So we'll get this thing all polished up, and then we can go ahead and move forward from there. Now, if we didn't do something to protect this bare metal after we polish it, it could oxidize pretty quickly and look just as bad as it did when we got the casting. So that's why we use the Renaissance wax. The Renaissance Wax is a crystalline wax product. They use it for the preservation of jewelry and things like that. And it's really easy to use. You just kind of smear it in there with your finger. Make sure you cover all of the areas. And frankly, sometimes if I have really tight little areas, I'll go ahead and take a clean toothbrush and I'll use it to work some of the Renaissance Wax down into the nooks and crannies again, and grooves and difficult spots. Once I'm done doing that, then I just buff it off and it's protected. So all the work I put into polishing this base is now going to be protected, and it's going to stay shiny, and it's going to hold back that oxidation. Okay, so now the base has been treated with the Flitz, washed, brass bristle brushed, polished with Flitz polish, and now I feel comfortable in taking off the old wheels and putting on the new ones. These are cap style wheels. You gotta love cap style wheels. You just work a blade of your X-Acto knife between the back part of the wheel and the front, and just give it a little twist and pop it off it shoots, and you're in business. The new ones just snap right on, and they look fabulous. Love the cap. My favorite. Cap style wheels, totally number one, my favorite. Again, I'm going to use chrome deep dish wheels here because, hey, that's my thing. So I still haven't found my number one wheel straightener, but I did find my backup, so I at least have something that I can use here, because I got to tell you, this really needed to have the axles straightened out. So I was glad to have found this. I really need to order another couple and just put them back out and make sure I have them all the time. Don't know what I did with that thing. Okay, so I still have the Flitz on the table, so I went ahead and polished up the engine, and now I'm going to go ahead and polish up the glass. For the glass, I'm just going to put a little dab on a blue shop towel, dab it in there, and just vigorously buff it back and forth to bring out the shine. This glass didn't really need a lot. It wasn't cracked or no deep scratches or grooves. It looked okay. It just needed to be shined up. So little Flitz, work it on the blue shop towel, then I'll give it a final buff using a microfiber towel, and it's going to come out so good that I'm not even going to go ahead and use any gauzy on this one. But, I could if I wanted to. I just don't feel like I need to here. So you've seen this here before in the last video. It's my new little handheld Bissell vacuum. I love this thing. It's come in so handy in cleaning up my work area. Just be careful that you don't suck up something you need, although you probably could get it out pretty easily. But still, I love this thing. It's rechargeable. You just use a USB cord. I set it on the side of my desk, and it's just there and waiting and ready to help me clean up my messes. All right, so I've got the body out of the stripper. And I gotta tell you, I'm really jonesing to do something unique with the paint here. But I'm fighting off those feelings because this is a Redline, and I want to keep it a Redline. So I'm gonna force myself to paint it a Redline color. But I really did consider like a two-tone color, maybe forest green and some cream or something like that. I don't know. I really, really considered that very, very hard. But it is a Redline, and I'm going to keep it a Redline, and it's going to get a Spectraflame paint job. So because of that, I've got to give this a really good polish. So after the stripper, sink, wash it, scrub it down with the brass bristle brush, and now out comes, you got it, the Flitz and the rotary tool. And we're going to bring this thing to a high, high shine. So I'm really happy because this thing did shine up very, very nicely, and that's going to pay off as I put on a Spectra Flame color. And what I've decided to go with is, because I really had green in my mind, and I didn't want to go like antifreeze or anything, I'm going with like a sour apple green Spectra Flame paint. I think it should look really, really nice, and so that's the direction I'm going to head. But maybe someday I'll take another power pad, maybe that broken one, and do it in just like some kind of a custom paint job. Who knows? So over here at the paint booth, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to wipe the casting down using a little isopropyl alcohol just to get rid of residue from the polishing and make sure the body is nice and clean and the paint will take. Then I can go ahead and start mixing up the Spectra Flame colors. Like I said, I'm going to use an apple green, and it's Spectra Flame paint that I got from the Redline Shop. I'm going to just mix it up with a little bit of the hardener, stir it up, and then we can start to lay it down. As I get more and more used to doing my painting over here at this little paint corner that I've set up, I'm getting a little more comfortable and understanding what I'm doing a little bit more. And you'll notice that I am wearing my powered little mask. Really love that thing. Super cheap, but yet it's a mask to help protect my lungs, and it's powered through a filter that hangs around your neck, and so it pumps air into your mask. And first of all, what that means is you got positive pressure in the mask, keeping things from, instead of leaking in, air is leaking out. And secondly, it makes it a lot easier to breathe. And when you have lung issues like I have, this is the cat's pajamas. I love this thing. And, when I do forget to pop it on, I always end up punching myself in the eye for it, But I remembered it here as I get more and more comfortable painting over in this corner. And as to the painting, I'm doing just my usual stuff: tack coats, light coats, wet coats, to make sure that I get a really beautiful finish on here and get the color that I want. This is a very, very soft color, and I want it a little bit more punchy, so I gotta go a little heavier than you might think I normally would. All right, so we're at the tail end of this build. I just need to put it back together. Pay attention to any details we might want to employ here. But let's get it together and see what we've got. All right, let's get these screws out of here. Okay. These screws might be too long. I used the long ones, and they're probably too long. We'll see. We'll see what happens. As a matter of fact, let's just do this. Let's get some of the shorties out, especially for the engine. You see that? That was almost a disaster. Water goes in. And actually, it's going to go in last. So we got to put the glass piece in. And then the interior drops in. And now the base goes on. And we can go ahead. Okay. Let's get another shorty out for the motor. Get the motor fed in through here. Yeah, this was a fun one. Just because it was a little bit different. Little camper. Yeah, a little bit different. Okay. There, she's looking pretty good. And now we take the little power pad and slide it on. Just clicks on. And there she is. Looking super cool. I'm really happy about this. Love the color choice. Pretty. A lot of fun. A lot of fun. I love it. Yeah, there we have it. All right, there it is. My power pad looking amazing. I really am digging the way this thing came out, and I hope you dig it too. If you do, please give this video a giant thumbs up, click subscribe, and don't forget to click the notification bell so you never miss one of my videos. As always, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. I love to hear from you guys. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I hope the rest of your day is full of happy, successful projects that make you smile. Until next time, this is Paul from Fat Guy Productions saying, be good.